I just updated BlockBlender and now it's easier than ever to convert models into Minecraft blocks, bake textures, and export schematics. And just so you know, there is a free version that you can download as well. So let's take a look at what's new, and then I'll show you how to make some cool Minecraft builds. So the biggest changes in this version are new blocks from Minecraft 1.20. So we have bamboo and cherry wood now. And the other big change is that BlockBlender is now an add-on that you can install like any other Blender add-on. Just go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and look for the Install button. When you select the BlockBlender zip file and enable it, you'll get this panel over here, and it should make the whole experience much easier. So now you can select an object and hit the big button and it'll turn into Minecraft blocks. Then you can select an image in the modifier panel to set the color up. You can also convert multiple objects into blocks at the same time. Then you have the hide button to hide the modifier down here and the remove button to get rid of the modifier completely. This area will show the scale and dimensions of the active object, and it's the same info that you can find here, but now you don't have to go back and forth to see how big your model is. If you try to turn something into blocks and it disappears, chances are your model is smaller than a single block and you have to make it bigger than 1 meter for it to appear. Let's get a different model real quick. This is a fish from Sketchfab. We have these 3 buttons for common operations you'll be using, like apply, scale, and rotation, so your blocks are the right size and they aren't rotated or something like this. We have join objects, which you'll need for models that come in multiple pieces, like this. Just join them together. And convert to mesh for if you have a curve object or something with modifiers that you want to apply. Next we have these 2 buttons, which work together with other add-ons. If you don't have the schematic exporter enabled, then this button will lead you to the site to download it. And this is made by Brian Valdez, who has been really good about keeping it up to date as I've been adding features. Once you install and enable it, this button will change and let you export a schematic so you can import your model straight into Minecraft. The next one is for a free texture baking add-on called BakeLab by Specular. And just like the exporter, this button will send you to the site to download it. Just click the code button and download the zip, and that's what you need to install. And then the button will turn into a one-click texture baking solution. And just to be clear, I'm not affiliated with the creator of BakeLab. It's just a free add-on that I tried and liked. So for models that have a bunch of separate materials, or if you have a model that doesn't use image textures, this should help you bake all the color down into a single image that you can use with BlockBlender. I added more image slots for when you don't want to bake and you only have a few images, but I've seen some models that literally have over 100 materials, like the city model right here. So you can just press this bake button and it will bake everything into one image and save it into the same folder as the blend file that you're using. Then we can turn it into blocks and use that image for the color. This button is my attempt at a one-click solution, but if it doesn't work for your model, then you can always use all of the options that BakeLab gives you over here. Then we have this button to import the gradient tools to other files, and you can go into the modifier and change the colors around and whatnot.
Very important.
Down here, we have a help section. I've listened to all of the problems people were having and tried to answer as many questions as I could, and that's what the FAQ is. Chances are, if you're having a problem, you can find the answer here, so definitely check that out. But if you can't find the solution, there is this other button to my Discord server where you can post some screenshots and ask for help. Alright, let's move on to the modifier panel because there are some new options over there too. Like I said, I added some more image slots, so we have 10 instead of 5 now. Then we have an option to change what UV map BlockBlender uses. Just make sure the names are the same here and here, or the colors won't work. There is the fill interior option, which will completely fill the inside of your object with blocks so it's not hollow. So now when you bring builds into Minecraft, you won't have to worry about mobs spawning inside them. Just be careful if your object is huge, because it adds a lot of blocks and might slow Blender down. We have this auto resolution option, which will be on by default, and it basically makes the colors more accurate. The way it worked before was that you would get one color per face of your model, and if you wanted more color detail, you had to subdivide it. The subdivide option is still there if you want to use it, but auto resolution will work fine in most situations, and if you want more detail, you can just set this number a little higher to like 10 or something. And just like subdividing, this can make things pretty slow with big models, so you can turn it off to speed things up if you want. And I believe the last change is this single block option, which lets you set the whole model to one block. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's all just made out of one type of block now. If you need more help using BlockBlender, there are some other videos in the description for that. Alright, let's build some stuff now. So for the first build, I want to make a city, and I'm starting by modeling some houses out of cubes. I'm using this geometry node tree to make something similar to the wireframe modifier because I think it looks nice to have walls outlined. And you can use the wireframe modifier if you want, but this just gives you a little more control over the shape that you're getting. After that, I just extruded the top face and scaled it down to make a simple roof, and another cube for this entryway. I duplicated the first house and gave it a second floor, and I do this a few times, just duplicating and making small changes to get some variety. Then I added all of them to a collection, which will be important later. Then I applied the wireframe and started changing the colors for the edges and the roof. And I gave the building this gradient by pressing U and projecting from view. Next I added in a plane and I used this node setup to scatter the collection of buildings onto it. And you can change this density slider to control how close the buildings are. This will randomize the rotation, and the snap node will make it so they only rotate 45 degrees at a time, or whatever number you set it to. Then I started planning the shape of the city. If you want the placement to be less random, you can skip the distribution node and instance straight onto the points to make grids of houses. When the general shape looks good, you can apply the geometry nodes modifier so the houses can be moved around in edit mode. Next is to model the ground that the houses will be placed onto. So for this, I'm just using planes, and I'm keeping this separate from the building so that I can give them different settings, like the noise for controlling the colors. For this raised part, I added some loop cuts to make staircases leading up to it. I added a bridge using a plane and proportional editing, and I made this little green patch in the center of this island. Then I went into edit mode and moved the houses around just to make sure that nothing was too close, and then I exported the schematics for the building and the ground. I used Litematica to import them into Minecraft, and this is the result. It's obviously pretty empty, but I think it's a good thing to build on top of and add details to. You can also take the building collection and scatter them onto other shapes to make clusters that look like temples, like this. And just change the seed for random results. And this could basically be a whole village in one building, as long as you don't build on top of lava. You can use basic shapes like cubes or cylinders to get cool results too. Then bring it into Minecraft and build on top of it like a reference. The next build idea is for a tree house, and for the tree, I'm using the skin modifier. I'm just extruding points for the branches and the roots, and then making sure the thickness looks good when it's turned to blocks. The color is a gradient with some noise added to it, and I don't want this to be hollow, so I used the fill interior option. For the leaves, I'm using curves with some thickness and the draw tool, so I can basically just draw them on like this. When it looks good, I just convert it to a mesh and join it with the tree and make sure that the leaves are the right color. The house on top will be a separate object, so it can be hollow and have different blocks, and this design is mostly cylindrical, which I thought worked well with the roundness of the tree. Here's what it looks like in Minecraft, and as you can see, the tree is solid, so you can, tunnel right through it. The third build idea is this organic column of caves, and I actually got this idea from somebody on my Discord server who has been making some really nice experiments. This is mostly geometry nodes, so it starts with a mesh to volume node and then distribute points into it. Then we can turn it back into a volume and then into a mesh. And the reason for doing all of this is because while it's a grid of points, we can actually delete some with a noise texture to create these tunnel shapes. The multiply node here allows you to scale the noise texture to make it shorter on the z-axis. And this also looks really cool with other textures like the Voronoi texture instead of the noise. After these nodes is where the color happens, so I'm using color attributes, and with geometry nodes you can edit them by using a store named attribute node, as long as it has the same name as the color attribute. So I picked some colors for the stone part and I randomized them a little with this noise texture. And here is another named attribute node for the green blocks, but we need to use this selection socket, otherwise everything will turn green. So the normal and dot product is a way to select all of the surfaces that are at a certain angle. So if you want the top to be selected, you can set the Z to 1, and that's pretty much it. After that, it's just about deciding the shape you want, and you can use pretty much anything like Suzanne here. And you can even draw with curves to create these weird tall structures. Here's what they look like in Minecraft, and I think they look awesome. It's almost like somebody took caves and raised them to the surface. I made this one that has a big hole cutting through the center, and I really like how the light comes through. And for these ones, I think they're just like a lot of fun to run around on. So those are some build ideas to play around with. If you want to check out BlockBlender, I put some links in the description, and like I said before, there is a free version to play with. Thank you to my patrons over on Patreon, and thank you for watching.